Well, I have the pleasure of introducing Jen Bond. Jen is a colleague. Deb mentioned that we had a big party in Dallas to showcase our book, The 262, and Jen was part of that successful event and had a chance to get to know her better. And she's a delight. She's an international vision strategist and international bestseller. And like I said, she's in this book, the 262 book. She's a certified coach in success principles. And her topic today is creating a higher vision for your life. Something unique about Jen is that she trekked the Himalayas. Wow. I want to hear more about that story for sure. And she's listening to Lily Iola, Daydream. I listened to that song. I had never heard about it. And it is such a lovely, lovely, inspiring song. And the prize that she has for one person today is that you get a private strategy session with Jen worth 550. And the prize that she has for everyone is an alignment discovery wheel and a vision board strategy sheet. With that, help me welcome Jen. Hey, Jen, you got the floor.
Hello. Hi there. It is so good to see you, Pat. It is so good to be here with each and every one of you amazing ladies here. And I have to tell you, I am so excited this afternoon to be with you and loved everything that you shared, Cassandra. That was absolutely incredible. I wrote that quote down. I decided that I'm going to take the value off of my life. And you have teed me up perfectly for this subject that I'm going to spend the next couple of minutes talking about. My absolute favorite thing in the entire world to talk about, and that is, how do you create a higher vision for your life? First, I want to tell you, I'm curious who is in the room because I like to know who's here. If you would drop in the chat for me, and I recognize some of the faces, some faces I don't know. Out of curiosity, really quickly, drop in the chat if you are an entrepreneur or a solopreneur. I do want to know that. I am curious. So drop it in the chat for me. Or if you are a woman who is what I affectionately like to call in transition right now. Maybe you've had a career in one specific area and you're moving into another area. Maybe you've had been a domestic engineer. You've stayed home for a while and now you're stepping out. Maybe you're retired. I want to know if you're a woman in transition as well. So lots of solopreneurs. So I'm looking at the chat here. Well, I am so excited to be with each and every one of you. And what I want to ask you is it possible that you are here right now as a part of this summit right now for a specific reason? Is it possible that you are looking for a little bit more in your life? Is it possible that you're looking for more purpose? You're looking for more possibility, or you're waiting to have that higher vision for yourself? Well, I want to talk about that for the next couple of minutes. And as I said, it is my absolute favorite thing to talk about. When Deb and I met and we chatted and talked about me being a part of this summit, she said, what do you want to speak on? And I said, well, there's several different things. I do a lot of different keynotes around the world, several different things. And when I said to her, I said, but here's my favorite thing to talk about, and that is creating a higher vision for your life. She's like, oh yes, definitely talk about that. You need to talk about that. So let me ask you a real quick question. And I think Cassandra touched on this a bit. How many of you ever set a goal, you have achieved that goal, and you thought to yourself when you achieved that goal, wait, why doesn't this feel as good as I thought it was gonna feel? Anybody ever felt that way before? Like you set this goal and you're like, okay, wait a minute, why doesn't this feel as good? I used to think about that, and that's how I thought about success. I thought, okay, if I just have the next title, if I just have the next goal that I achieve, the next level, if I'm just grinding, the next milestone. But what I learned is that sometimes the ladder that you're climbing is actually leaning against the wrong wall. And this is where creating that higher vision for your life, for your business, for your relationships, for all of those different aspects of your experience that we're going through on this earthly life, that's where this comes into play. Because what I've discovered along the way is that it's not actually about becoming more. It's actually about becoming in alignment with what really truly matters to you and who you are meant to be ultimately. So, quick show of hands, has anybody here actually taken some real time to create an ideal vision for your life? Anybody here? I am curious. You can raise your hand or you could drop it in the chat. Anybody here? Then how many of you have actually spent a lot of your time being so busy doing life? Hey, that's what happens sometimes, right? We get so caught up in doing life that we're not even creating space to think about, to imagine what we want next. Well, if you're in that space right now where you're like, I have been doing so much life, Jen, I haven't even been thinking. I haven't gotten off the hamster wheel to even think about what it is that I want, my ideal life. And when I talk about my ideal life, I'm not just talking about your health or your finances or maybe your career, your business, what you want to do, that project, that book you want to, publish, that thing that you want to do. I'm also talking about your ideal life when we talk about your relationships, your community, your legacy. What is the ripple effect that you're going to leave behind? That's what so much of this 262 movement is about. It is about that ripple effect. It gives me goosebumps thinking about it. That ripple effect of how it is that you're impacting all of these other people. I know that because of the relationships that I have fostered in this group, the people that I've met, people like Kathy, people like Deb, people like Pat, these relationships, that it has a ripple effect. And that's one of the things that's so extraordinary about this movement and about this experience together that we're on. So here's what I want to do for the next couple of minutes that I have with you. I have 3 things that I want to accomplish. The first one is I want to get you to think a little bit differently about how you view creating a vision for yourself. The second thing I want to do is I want to encourage you, I want to invite you to see your life through a higher lens, not where you are right now in this moment, but where you're going, out in the future, a year from now, 3 years from now, 5 years from now. And I also want to show you how to discover how to bridge that vision with some tangible strategies that are going to help you make that vision come to life. So here's the thing. What happens is a lot of times people get stuck in this place of that next level vision, that they're thinking about where they are right now, that they're just dropped so into the routine, into the rut, into where they are right now. They're getting stuck in that cycle. You get stuck in that cycle that you don't actually start thinking about creating from where you're going. You're just simply thinking about where you are right now. Wayne Gretzky, famous hockey player, said it famously that you want to skate. He skates to where the puck is going. When somebody asked him that in an interview, who's heard this interview before and heard that quote before? Yeah, it's a pretty powerful quote. When you think about it, though, when somebody said, how are you so successful? How are you so amazing? And the interviewer asked him that, and he basically said, I skate to where the puck is going, not to where it is right now. And it's a really great metaphor and a really great visual for us. This is really the foundation of everything that I teach when I mentor women. And for those of you that don't know me, I know that Pat shared a little bit about me, but here's the thing is, I started as a stay-at-home mom who just wanted to make a little bit of extra money. I affectionately say fell into direct sales. And what happened along the way is I turned that little side gig into nearly 25 years of leading women, helping them expand their vision of what was possible, of being able to be a mom, stay at home, and being able to have a career, of being able to be fully present with their kids, with their family, and also have a thriving business, something that was just theirs. And what's happened along the way is that it has allowed me to lead thousands of women. It has allowed me to help build many multi-million-dollar organizations with leaders. And now I've been able to have opportunities to meet and speak with people like you, amazing, beautiful women here today. Here's the thing. None of that happened though, because I had it all figured out. I didn't have it all figured out. What happened is I had a willingness to think a little bit differently. And I had a willingness to stop thinking about where I was in that moment, but a willingness for me to start envisioning, what if I could have anything? What if I could be anything? What if I could reject what people are telling me I could or couldn't do? And what if I could focus on the woman that I was becoming rather than who I was at the time? So here's the truth. A lot of times people think about vision as the starting line of success, or they start thinking about vision as like the end goal. Like they think about it as, okay, so, and I'm here, I've arrived, okay? The vision is actually the place that you start. And that's one of the things that I like to really encourage you to think about. And actually, we know that there is some data around this. I'd love to share a little bit of data around things. I think statistics are important because they come from something that's real and tangible very often. And we know that researchers will tell us that people who actually write down their goals and they start to visualize those goals. You know, a lot of times people think, oh, I'm just going to write it down. No, you actually visualize those goals. You visualize the completion of those goals. Those people are 42% more likely to actually achieve those goals. It's pretty profound. And then when you throw in things like, you know, accountability groups, pacing partners, groups like this, people that you're going to touch base with, masterminds, coaching, all of those other aspects as well, that number shoots way up from 42%. But here's the thing, and let me ask you this. Are you actually planning the vision that you have for your life in those important areas in your life? Or are you like so many people, you spend more time planning your vacations, you spend more time planning your girls' weekend trip than you do actually planning your life? That's why vision is really, really important. It's your GPS. It's the thing that is going to pull you forward. It's the thing that's going to keep you, keep it as that North Star that you have for yourself. But a lot of times, here's where people fall short. You're so busy reacting. You're so busy reacting that you're not creating. And you are stuck in that place, like I said, where you're thinking where you are right there. Let me ask you this. Anybody here ever said any of these things? And in full transparency, I have said all of them in the past before. You know what? I think I'm going to go for it when things slow down. I'm going to write my book when things slow down. Anybody ever said that before? Or I'm going to go for that job or that project when things slow down. Yeah. How about when the kids are older? You know, when the kids are older, I'm going to work on them. Or maybe when I have more time. I don't know about you, but there is no perfect time and things don't slow down. And you have an opportunity. You get this one life. We all get this one life, and we get this day, we get this moment, and this is our opportunity to not have regrets and to be able to start creating that life that really is going to fire us up. I also want to ask you this, and you know, this word was thrown out there. I think Pat, you said it, and Deb, I think you said it too, is have you ever considered what the ripple effect is of you not stepping out? That's honestly the thing that keeps me up at night. It's the thing that keeps me up at night, that what if you don't write that book? What if you don't step up and you speak at the next summit? What if you don't start that new business that you want to start? What is the ripple effect? What's the example that you're setting? Who are the people? You know, it's been said a couple of times, the connections and the relationships in this group, they all lead to other things. You know, I have a book that's coming out this next year, and there are ladies here on this summit that I have interviewed to be a part of this book. If I had not said yes to this summit in the first place, speaking before, I never would have met some of these ladies. So think about that. What is the ripple effect of some of your decisions? Well, here's the good news, and this is what I want to share over these last couple of minutes that I have with you, and that is that you can start creating today. And I really want, if you hear nothing else that I say, I really want to impress upon that doesn't matter where you are right now, you can start creating that higher vision for yourself right now. And let me tell you, when you start doing that, it's like a muscle. It's like going to the gym. You start working it out and it gets stronger and it gets stronger, and you start creating and manifesting all sorts of things. And I know that Deb would absolutely agree with me on this. The things that you can bring to fruition are pretty extraordinary. You can begin creating it now. So how do you do that? I want to give you 3 really simple things that you can start to focus on right now. So here's the first one. I want to invite you to create from your future self. I want to invite you to start creating a new identity for yourself. Now, listen, if you really like yourself right now and you're like, yeah, I'm perfect right now, my personality, my health is exactly where I want it to be, great, have at it. But is it possible that there's a higher vision of yourself? And that's what I want you to think about. Start thinking about, just imagine. I want you to just imagine for a minute, it's a year from now. It's November of 2026. You built the business. You've strengthened your relationships. Maybe you've created some boundaries. You've had harmony and peace in your life, whatever that looks like for you. Ask yourself, what does that woman look like? What does she think? What does that woman feel like? What is that woman doing? What are her habits when she wakes up first thing in the morning? Start to create from your future self. Now, the second thing is I want you to think about aligning before you act. This is really important. And that is, it doesn't matter what your strategy is. It doesn't matter what your success habits are. It doesn't matter if they're not aligned. And what I want you to know is that if something drains you, this is your red flag. This is your signal that it's not in alignment. Okay? If it drains you, it's not in alignment. If it lights you up, that is your clue. That is your ding, 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 ding. This is something that you need to pay attention to. Joy is your GPS, okay? If it lights you up, if it brings you joy, then you know that that is a clue for you. And then number 3 is that you want to decide what you want. Now, I'm going to give you a couple of tools that were already shared. I'm going to drop this in the chat. I'll put them on the Facebook group, but I'm going to give you a couple of tools to help you with this. But it is so critically important that you decide what you want. Because here's the thing is, if you don't decide, then life is just happening. It's just you're doing more of the same. You're doing life, okay? So I want to get you to start asking yourself that question. If I could have, if I could be, or if I could do anything, if I could have, if I could be, or if I could do anything, what would that be? What would that be? Don't think about how it's going to happen. I just want you to decide what that looks like. And here's the thing. Indecision is a decision, okay? So not deciding, that means somebody else is going to decide for you, right? So just kind of closing things out and wrapping things up. What I want to invite you to do is I want you to think about, what if these next 2 months, so November, December, rather than waiting for January, what if these next 2 months were actually your runway into 2026? Don't wait for January. There's so many people who wait for January. My invitation to you is for you to start thinking about it now. Who is this woman that you want to be? What does she believe? What does she know for sure? What is that she's doing, and what is that she's going to start doing right now? This woman that you're becoming, this woman that, as I call it, acting as if your future self is already showing up. Start to get clear on this. And as I said, I'm going to give you a tool that's going to be able to help you begin to do this. So having said that, just imagine that January 1st, you're looking back and you realize that you didn't wait for the new year. You actually started getting moving right now. You started creating that higher vision for yourself right now. You started becoming her right now. You started acting as if right now. Just imagine how good that's going to feel. Just imagine how powerful you're going to feel going into this new year as you're creating this life for yourself and you're creating this higher vision for yourself. As I said, I have a couple of gifts that I'm going to give y'all. I will drop those in the chat for you as well. These are going to be tools for you to be able to really start to step into that woman. But I want to leave you with this quote. It's one of my favorite quotes, and it's from a woman who truly created a higher vision for her life. And that is from none other than Miss Oprah Winfrey. And one of my favorite quotes is, create the highest, grandest vision possible for your life, because what you become is what you believe. So, with that, I thank you all so much. I'm so excited to be here with you. And I'm actually ecstatic to see what you create for yourself, not only in these last couple of months of 2025, but moving into 2026.
Jen, thank you so much. Let's give Jen some hands, some love, some kisses, some hugs. Let her show us her appreciation, some snaps. Woo! Girlfriend, you have set the course for us for 2026. Thank you so much.
You're so
We have a
welcome.
question.